so much once again. And what we shall attempt to do over the next 30 minutes is, as you realize, we're going to be here, both of us. We don't want to be there. And we'll kind of interact with you. We're going to discuss a few very, very interesting things, and especially around innovation. Okay. Now, before some of you, actually withdraw back, oh, innovation, we've heard it so many times. I agree with you. Right? So we'll try to make it as real as possible. So much so that when we take a few examples, we will not just terminate it by telling you what that innovation was, but rather we will then have a discussion with you and figure out how does it fit in the Indian context. When we walk out of this room 30 minutes from now, we'll probably be in a position to understand and figure out which are those innovations which will really work and which are those innovations which are best relegated to, let's say, a PowerPoint slide. Sounds good? Sounds good? And the other thing that we will do, both Vikram and I, we will not be taking the names of the companies involved, right? There are two reasons. One is, the moment we tell you the name of a company as ABC Limited and tell you the innovation, perhaps the first thing that you would do, I would do as well, is slot it. Or maybe only he can do it, or his type can do it. Oh, he's got 2,500 stores, I got 25 stores, I might not be able to do it. Correct? So we will not do that. We'll probably just tell you the category that the retailer operates in, because that's fair, because it depends a lot on the category that one's in. And the second reason is, we will not tell you the name of the company because we are not spokespersons of the company, and neither Vikram nor I are paid for it.
Yeah, we're not being paid for it.
So we will not tell you the names of the company. And so as people keep trickling in, let me give you some wonderful innovation examples. Now, this is a serious business, guys. And if you want to laugh, you can really laugh out loud. Right? And now, these are incredible innovations. Right? And we've gathered this from various parts of the world. You've been to hotel rooms. You have geysers in your houses. You know a mixer. What's a mixer in a bathroom? One that mixes hot water and cold water. Right? Ever seen something like this? Recycled plastic, right? Something like this. Shower. No more paying for expensive shower heads. And hey, you know what? The person who really loves his wife does this. Okay? Chances of failure, we shall not discuss as to where the chances of failure are higher, right? And this. The reasons why people don't put out the rear view mirrors is because of the fear that it will get knocked out by another speeding idiot. And the reasons why people put out a rear view mirror is, jayega to at least rear view mirror jayega, mera body ko kuch nahi hoga. Correct? So this is an innovation. If you've got a handy mirror at home, which I'm sure you have, you can use this. Hope there are no auto manufacturers or suppliers out here, right? Very expensive, right? A small crack in the mirror and you have to replace the whole damn thing. Right? So this is good, and yeah, you don't have to pay for us. Now, this is, so what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? We all do quite a few things when we check into hotel rooms. One of the things that you won't need to do is this, because of the solution that you have now. Okay? So don't despair. If the handle of your razor breaks, just get the pliers that you have, right? And now, the next one comes with a caution, right? Viewer discretion is advised, not the most enormous of photos, but hey, very practical, right? iPod, anyone? Okay, he didn't like it. Your large music store? No problem. Size is not a constraint, as long as you've got a piece of garment that will hold it tight. Right? And last but not the least, it's my personal favorite, and we shall kind of end it there, is this. Cops won't catch you anymore. Right? So that's a hands-free phone. So ladies and gentlemen, just to break the ice, thought can share these wonderful innovations. What this just shows is that, the world is replete with possibilities. Now, that's what we're going to talk about as to innovation. How do you actually raise the bar? Who said this? have the answers? How many in the audience think it is Steve Jobs? Indeed. This is a precursor to the next statement. Right? I want you to find a bold and an innovative way to do everything exactly the same way it's been done the past 25 years. We've heard it. We tell it to our folks. Right? Now let's be honest with ourselves. Now who said this? You'll be surprised. Who said this? And we still haven't got it after so many years. So we really start beginning to question human evolution. Of course, this gentleman had an IQ which is perhaps more than the collective IQ in this room. Absolutely. So what was the giveaway? The IQ part of it, or you really knew? Right? So that's setting the stage for what we believe would be a good 20-25 minutes of sharing views, us telling you as to what we found over the past many days that we've been searching around for real innovations which have kind of impacted the way retailers engage with consumers, the way retailers are looking at competing in this new era of multi-channel. So I'll hand it over to Vikram for the first innovation piece.
Okay, so if you guys remember, I don't know how many of you were there yesterday in a session where I was moderating. One of the things I said was, I talked about a book which said, you know, what got you here won't get you there, okay? What this really means is, today you are running your businesses as they are. You're fairly successful. You're doing your jobs, yeah? But in this world of obviously high competition, you know, everything changing around you, what's really important is that you've constantly got to look at different and better ways to do the same thing. So, you know, that last cartoon that he just showed is actually quite relevant. It's funny, but it's actually quite relevant that you've been doing certain things. You tend to get into that mindset that what I'm doing is fine, I know what I'm doing. But the point is, you've got to keep rethinking, or you've got to do it in a structured manner in your workplace, where you actually revisit the same process and say, okay, how do I improve it? Yeah. So we'll talk about a few innovations. The first one I'd like to talk about is an apparel retailer. I'm actually going to talk about two retailers out here. What they've done is use technology, okay? For example, sorry, my throat is bad. So what one of them has done is, for example, use RFID tags. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah. So what they've done is basically use RFID tags. Rather, it's a fashion apparel company, right? People walk in, they actually want, when they look at a certain garment, they want to see how is that garment being worn, how will it look when someone's actually wearing it, yeah? So what these guys actually did was they put RFID tags on various products of theirs, and as the customer walks around and picks up a garment, it automatically gets detected, and there's a large video screen out there which immediately starts showing this product and how it's being worn by someone on a catwalk. Okay, so it's like a digital catwalk right there. You actually have the garment, you pick it up, and then you look up and you see someone wearing it. So it actually translates that into a real-time sort of a feeling for you. It's of course not able to put it on you, which is a whole new technology. We can talk about that later. But this one just shows how is that product in action. So that's one, okay, use of RFID tags for certain products. And Siju will later talk about the Indian context for the similar thing. What another one does, another retailer has done is, they've got various kiosks, okay, all around the store, which talk about the product and finally end in transaction of making the purchase, okay, allowing the customer to very simply go ahead and make the purchase. You walk around the store, you've got your smartphones. Today every smartphone can pretty much scan. You've got the scanning app on your smartphones. You've got QR codes. You can actually put up you know, the phone in front of the QR code. You actually get information about it, and it guides you then back to the kiosk and says, okay, there's a kiosk close by. Go ahead and make a purchase if you want, or if you like it, or you want to know more about it. So the purchase actually, the customer actually goes to the kiosk and can go ahead and close the deal. So what they're trying to do is not just provide information, but actually pushing the customer to do the transaction. Because there's no point just giving information. End of the day, you want to make money, right? So they are actually monetizing products. Now, these RFID, for example, we know is quite a high-tech technology or fancy, costly, all that stuff that we've heard. Maybe Siju can talk about what does it mean in the Indian context. Yeah, you want to talk about that? Yeah.
So we can give you an idea in terms of the innovation that both these apparel retailers have kind of taken on, and it's resulted in pretty significant throughput in terms of higher sales. And the reason is when someone's actually taking clothes to the trial room, or wearing shoes and walking around, the large screen kind of triggers the videos that kind of accelerate the purchase decision. How many of you in this audience believe that this will work in the Indian context? How many of you believe it will work in the Indian context? That's a minority. And so the majority which believes it will not work in the Indian context. Why so? Guys, this is interactive. There's no escaping it. The doors won't open till you actually interact.
I think to just add to Siju's point, it's not about why it won't work, I think we got to start changing our mindset and say this is all there. How are we going to make it work is the important point. I think that's the thinking that we got to start bringing to ourselves. Correct. And say, it's there, somebody's done it. How are we going to do it here? If it makes sense, if it sounds interesting, and then go after that, So let's answer Siju's question.
So the first thing is the what.